my computer to obey me. And while that's going on, I'm going to do another not quite dry run, not quite wet run of the replays of the LTK Rockbottom versus Baby on Board's match. Should be fun. And we should enjoy this series. Mockery's on Hanzo, Cavalier Guest is on Johanna, Christianator's on HTC, Kyle Ferguson is on Anduin, Porky is on Falstad, Huge Slot is on Garrosh, Lloyd is on Blaze, Rhea's on Rhaegar, Shadow is on Kael'thas, and Storm is on Kerrigan. I hate these names. I hate these names so much. I am literally avoiding the LTK Rockbottom lineup just because casting this is so hard. Why did you guys do this to me? Anyways, early talents are out. We've got Block Party, which will do a good amount on Kerrigan. Q-Build Falstad and Autotech build Hanzo. Fairly conventional builds. Unrivaled Strength is an off pick for Rosh, but not a bad pick. Crushinator gets hit by a lot. Tries to use the boop to catch the ETC slide, but actually fails. ETC is very much a skill matchup into both Garrosh and Blaze, as if you can time your W... I'm an ETC main, I should know this. Face melt, I think. Anyways, if you can time that ability, you basically can just never get engaged on by this lineup. It's also good into character, but ooh, Porky just gets hit by the Firestorm and just dies instantly. Well, not instantly, he got Kerrigan combo first. Okay. Hyperbole aside, it was a good kill on Porky. Meanwhile, Cavalier Guest is actually managing to double soak, but Blaze right now, since last patch, has been the strongest clearer. Whether they're actually going to win out on soak is another question. Actually, right, XP is number 4. So far, you can see the Blaze has just eked out a bit. And, oh, wow, Huge Slot disappears. Looking to invade on the side of LTK. Porky has to sneak away, and Mockery has to use mobility. Lots of stuff just went down there while I was yammering on about double soaking. Huge Slot certainly got burst down. And, you know, that's going to be a problem for him because there's a lot of stuff that can kill him. Percent damage, armor reduction out of Mockery. Similar potential out of a Q-Build Falstad, as it does have spell armor reduction. A lot of potential there. Mockery, on the other hand, has done a good job stacking at this point, but you need to get a lot of those stacks in order to truly play Hanzo as a hyper carry. It's a difficult thing to do. Crushinator anchoring a bush like a good tank, being that big glorified warlord. Cavalier Guest comes down on the flank and just gets noped. Now then, let's see how the Soak's holding up. Blaze is still just eking out a slight advantage. Meanwhile, both teams should be looking to go for their bruiser camps as this first objective spawns. Cavalier Guest looks to run to the wave, and Lloyd looks to intercept him, just barely missing each other. Meanwhile, there's a slight advantage in terms of clear speed to the side of Baby on Board. Never mind, that just disappeared. Cavalier Guest really is being fearless here. Like, that's mighty fearless for someone who doesn't have hold your ground. Meanwhile, Storm has just pressed Q on the minion waves a whole bunch. 16 stacks in 3 minutes isn't bad. As you can see, it looks like, whatchamacallits, LTK is actually getting an advantage here. This wave is going to eventually crash in their favor. Meanwhile, they're also gaining advantage from the Arcane Punisher, which is definitely a problem. Shadow gets chipped a bit. Porky tries to catch a bit more. And, ooh, Christianator goes in. And he is going to die for this. Meanwhile, Huge Slot gets picked by Porky and Mockery. Simultaneous tank trades. Meanwhile, this camp is still becoming a lurking threat, and Cavalier just has no real way to make it there. Lloyd matches him with Soak. number-wise, they've fallen behind because Lloyd was on the point. For good reason. This is getting way too much value. Porky having to go up now is a serious problem because it means he's not there to clear this Punisher. Push is going to get extended, and that's high stress. Made the thing over to the wall, which means it's a little bit less dangerous, but at the same time, losing 2 towers, well, 4 towers this early on sucks a lot. Meanwhile, looks like there was an attempt to gank, but nah, that's not happening. Soak-wise, there's a slight lead, and ooh, oh no. These are gank bushes, man. Big gank bushes, and just barely out of range. Wait, Christian Hater walks in! Oh! Oh my word, he gets out with power slide, but he's gonna get... Oh no! Oh my word, the persistence. Wait, Porky? Porky is next? What? Oh my! Oh my! That is really unfortunate, and recently I got a bit of advice from a few Garrosh mains, and the best way to describe him is he's one of those tanks where you're probably not going to do much on him, but when you do, you're going to do a lot. Huge slot, just going in there, isolating people and making their lives miserable. Well, their last moments miserable. Their deaths were miserable. Meanwhile, wow, their LTK is just looking to dominate with the camps, looking to create an advantage with that level 10 lead. Huge slot is peeking here. It's a totally bald-faced bluff because he literally has nothing as a threat tool. Oh my word. Falling Sword, Light Bomb, Gust, Arrow. There's so much crowd control that it feels like Baby on Board had a really good chance to just CC clip this poor Rhaegar who has like a 1-second cleanse, which doesn't even give you good reaction time into Mosh. Like, it's so hard to react if you're stuck in a Mosh and you just got a Rhaegar cleanse. Ooh, big field goal. Well, it's a home run, but whatever. Meanwhile, more chips. All the towers are down, and Baby on Board really can't say the same thing. Yeah, they got some gates, but it's not the same. It's just not. They have plenty of opportunities to get good value on the side of LTK here. But they've already opened up early paths to winning. Who thought it's just searching? Oh! Oh no, Christian Hater gets baited around. I think Shadow's a little bit annoyed at his tank right now. Getting, you know, the light bomb thrown into him. That was a very good use of taunt as a kiting tool. It's one of those things you can do, especially if you catch someone who has fast movement speed. Not sure if that's the case with these here. Yeah, we got loudspeakers, so that's not the case here. Huge slot! Look at that crazy flank! He's been spotted out by Christian Hater, but nobody's reacting to him! Porky's disengaging. Meanwhile, Cavalier's getting in, and ooh, that is a dead Kale Foss. Oh my word. Secondary cleanse coming out of his slot. A lot of disengage. Boyd misses stun. Cavalier guest on the other hand. Ooh. Got chipped out there. Same as Lloyd. Well, not really. They're kind of equal opposites here. Huge slot. Still looking for another pick. They're being held out just barely. Meanwhile, Storm is really just pressing Q ad nauseum. Ooh, Crushinator's caught. And Shadow just extends out of the range of Crushinator and goes in. Probably the safest place for him to be is like right on top of Tarrasque right now. You know, Cavalier gets taunted and blown up. Late Gus completely fails to save him. Look at that, he's just casually just walking up. He wants the blood. He needs the blood. Well, Porky just zooms all the way up top. It's necessary. They've lost their offlane and they can't afford to lose more soak. But mid lane is not going to get soaked until these globes decay. Meanwhile, Blaze probably has the freedom to just push this lane down while they're getting value here. Means that if the objective spawns here, it's not likely going to have a fort with it. Ooh. Falling Sword uses an escape tool, and Mockery uses the arrow at the same time for peeling. Well, you can see the sheer amount of workload did. Ooh, that's a lot of burst. Porky might actually be in grave danger here. Cavalier gets huge slot away, and whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. We're rewinding that. I don't care. We're rewinding that. Wait, that was a bit too far. Like, this is one of the advantages of a replay cast. You can see some crazy, crazy stuff here. They just watch the dog bite. Watch the dog bite! That's ridiculous! Like, look at that! He actually just went through the terrain with his Z. That's actually bonkers. Like, it probably didn't give Worky a heart attack at all, but I'd have had a heart attack if, you know, like, this feral dog leaps at me through a wall. Oh my word, that is truly absurd. Cavalier, catching soak. You're even on talent tiers now, so with their catapult disadvantage, they have to play aggressively if Baby on Board wants to win. But right now, the uncertainty of where Huge Slot is, because he isn't on the map for them, means that it's hard to play recklessly. Like, one of the scariest things you can do as ETC is face check a bush, because you are sitting on, how do I put it, more base health than a garage, but it's not great. It really isn't. Like, this dude gets a hardened shield for his last, I don't know, 25% HP. ETC gets a little baby healing and a little baby shield, and it has to be active. It means that Huge Slot can play a lot more aggressively. Look at this. All that time, his trait isn't active. He just takes so much damage. It's not even funny. Mosh zones out, and Shadowstorm just eats Crushinator. Diving into the back line. Baby on board. It's got a lot of problems, but 2 tanks ain't one. Okay, that didn't make any sense, but it is one of the sort of ironic problems of that Mosh. Sure, it zoned off the entire team, but the advantage to having something like Kerrigan with high levels of self-sustain, crowd control, and damage is that Kerrigan can individually go in and get kills. Few champions in the game can say that. Blaze barely can. Most offlaners really sort of have to, but not all of them. Sonya at her height could do it with Leap, but lacks the damage right now. Anyways, that was a huge side crack. Point is, another fork goes down, and meanwhile, they're getting scouted out here, but Huge Slot using the secret bush has not been scouted yet. And he elects the Hearth. Probably safer for him. They don't know that they're for certain that they're on the Bruiser camp. Anyways, probably a good idea to talk about talents. Anyone's got 2 leaps. This is totem build, just being totem build, and more importantly, collision protection into a lot of powerful talents that can do a lot of damage. Kale Floss actually makes a lot of sense here into a double tank draft, because there's so much large bodies. Really difficult to not spread them. Ooh, there's a falling bomb. It blasts the Rhaegar. Ree just barely gets his ult off. And now the bombs start spreading. And both tanks disappear. All of the ults, except for Mosh, were used, which is just absolutely wild. Meanwhile, that camp is going to get effectively neutralized. Honestly, these Bruiser camps are a lottery. They're literally just gigantic glorified Jinko machines. Anyways. Yeah, I don't hate Sonya for not being meta either, Mr. Executive. Just the range of things my offlaner can play, but frankly, Leap and Wrath are both really busted ultimates when the numbers behind Sonya are broken. She has very much an Illidan effect. In that if she gets strong enough, she hits critical mass where a lot of team lineups can't kill her, and then suddenly, yeah, she's relevant every game. Right now, Blaze is only relevant because of his high clear speed. Like, look at that. It's just, the difference is telling. It's really striking. I mean, sure, Blaze has participated in... How did I see kills again? 5? Oh, there it is. Like, Blaze... Nope, that's not it either. Where is it? There it is. Blaze has participated in 1 kill and 7 assists. Okay, maybe that makes up the 2K difference, but the point is, Blaze is really... Okay, wait, what? Pacific. What? Oh. Oh, Pacific. Wait, did it move again? Wait. What? But, wait. Huh. That's weird. That really is weird. That's painful. Apparently the game's not... Wait, what? Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to pause this and waste time. So... Wait, what? I pushed 1 hour to 7 p.m. Pacific. 7 p.m. Pacific is 8. Oh! Oh. Oh, no. This is a distraction of epic proportions, which means this entire thing is going to be in the replay cast now. Anyway, so that just happened. I'm just going to continue with this. Apologies for the delay. Anyways. Ooh. There it goes. Oh, and that's what you're looking to see with PTC. Just booping to say no. Yeah, well, they lost a keep to the last Immortal. Wait, why did they lose a keep to? It was... Oh yeah, they lost it to the last Immortal. Right. But 20 disadvantage. They're just gonna take another keep here. And at this point, LTK is just going to massacre. Do camp. Shoot slot awaits in the bush. And here he is again. Just Running up to Cavalier, okay. They're saying, yeah, you can't clear our minions. Our minions are our minions. Porky barely dodges, and another camp is taken. Brutal display. Okay, then. Is still waiting? It's important to note something. We've got Psionic Shift here, which means Kerrigan's engagement range. Literally this entire wall and all the space beside it is her range now. It's actually bonkers how scary things just got. Titanic Mind, Farseer's Blessing, Master of Flames. Like, look at this. It's like, we know you have 2 tanks. I don't care that you have 2 tanks. We're going to blow you up. And Lloyd sits, anchors, and waits for the camp. The longer this is held, the worse off it's going to be. Meanwhile, we've got Bolt Mosh, or Bolt Bomb, Heaven's Fury, Wind Tunnel, Bullseye, and Inner Fire. Like, there's a lot of good alts upgrades on the side of Baby on Board. This is a fight that totally could be won by them. Just a matter of catching them off guard. Just a matter of landing a Mosh under the thing. Wow, that basically every single alt except for Mosh just got used. Huge slot drops. Dang. They managed to get the tank, but at the same time, Kerrigan just clears it out fast. And nope, they don't get anything. Anyone's gonna have to use a pull here. And ooh, there goes the Kerrigan. Caught out by Porky and Mockery. Shadow wasn't gonna die here, but what? Shadow's gonna die here. Okay. This is a difficult situation. There's no way they're gonna back in time to prevent core damage. Unless the minion wave spawns. Okay, the minion wave spawns. Okay, fine. Thanks for making a liar out of me, you little red heroes. Well, Lloyd and Tarask getting pushed out. And on the other side, we have Mockery. Oh, Mockery's kept the redemption stacks for a long time now. That's pretty crazy. Look at that high quality orb walking. Another camp going on the side of LTK. Macro's entirely in the palm of their hands here. It's really problematic for the side Baby on Board, because they don't just need to win, they need to win by a significant margin. They can kill literally everyone on the side of LTK, but if they can't push a lane, all they're going to get is a fort, maybe a keep. It means that LTK can afford to be a little bit aggressive from the frontline perspective. As long as Kael'thas stays alive, or Rhaegar as well, you're fine. As long as you leave one of these 3 frontliners up, Baby on Board can't actually push down the forts. And Porky has been encircled, and is likely going to have to make some pretty crazy plays in order to get him out of here alive. There's the Gust coming out. And he just flies away! Meanwhile, oh, Mockery almost gets caught. There's the combo. You can see it right there. The Rhaegar cleanse doesn't do anything for the Kerrigan. Basically, she has a window to press a few buttons, maybe use her whatchamacallit, and wow, he managed to get off the other side of these bombs. They don't stop coming. They keep going. Crushinator catches another charge, but so borderline. There it is again. Wait, control V? Uh-oh. That's the cinematic screen apparently, and that's gonna look really ugly. I'm trying to get rid of that ETC mark. There we go. And I need to work on those controls. Oh well. Well, this is what I get for goofing around really agree with. I mean, I get taking Buzz and Hammers, but literally just as a impromptu area reveal. Landing the damage is kind of inconsistent. We get more consistent and more controlled burst with Roar. Plus, it's also important to note that reduction of burden of execution, unless you're a godly level player, reduction of execution is more valuable than having raw numbers on a harder talent. And meanwhile, Huge Slot just goes in. And oh, look at that! Bomb spreads, a lot of ults get dropped, and just one advantage to the combination of Kael'Thas and Garrosh. Psychic Might can be used to control bomb detonations now. You can literally throw enemies as lethal weapons with this Garrosh build. And you can do it again and again. And ooh, there's a falling bomb. Catches Shadow Storm off guard. Oh, and because he's on the edge of the mosh, he can actually step out of it. It means they've dropped all of their ults. There are still a few left. And the Punisher, Kerrigan Shrine Control just is there and is a problem. Lloyd is probably going to walk away here. Nope, Forky manages to pick him. But that's a Seapog. Ooh, oh my word, Cavalier Guest is actually in deep trouble. Oh no! What a way to end off the game. You win the fight, but not by a hard enough margin. Well, you don't really win the fight? I don't know, honestly. I'd call that losing the fight, to be honest. The pain and shame. I'd hoped to time this thing better. Well, that's game one. Anyways. How are we going to do with this? Honestly, I have no idea what to do with the next few hours. I kind of made a bad schedule here. And that's a climate patch. Okay. Wow. This is driving me mad. All right, we'll be getting into game 2 shortly. I finally got the Heroes of Storm client to behave. So, we've got some, shall we say, bonkers comps. And frankly, I have no idea how these managed to form. Oh. Whoops. There we go. All right. Here we are in game number 2. It's a hypercarry Vala. Cube. Wait, that's bad. Anyways, we've got Christianator on Varian. Trask is on Rhaegar. Cavalier Guest is on Dahaka. Porky is on Vala. Mockery is on Zarya. And we have Lloyd on Lyric. Rhea on Stukov. Shadowstorm on Chromie. Shadow on Sylvanas. And Huge Slot is on Johanna. Personally, looking at everything here, I'd have to bet on the compositional behaviors of LTK to win. They just simply have a more well-rounded composition for this map. It's sort of a classic double anchor, but man, that is a bonkers push. Meanwhile, poor Crushinator's just watching his towers disappear while his team does the same thing. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter which side wins out in this race, because, you know, either side wins. If both sides kill the fourth, that's all that matters. Meanwhile, Lloyd is doing his best to put them out, but he is not going to be able to hold this down. And he's going to have to back. Meanwhile, on the flip side, poor Cavalier is getting tower dove. Just barely makes it out alive. Sylvanas has to go back to putting the black arrows on. Ultimately, it looks like both are going to go down nearly simultaneously here. And both forts go down. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so that's minute 1 of this game. I guess we're going to see a lot more conservative plays after that. Lloyd proceeds on to the camp. Both teams take a piece. Meanwhile, Huge Slot is anchoring in a bush. Both teams opt to take these camps. It's a play that's perfectly reasonable, given that they are opposite of the relevant Zerg wave. These camps generally are among some of the best amplifiers of either a boss or a Zerg wave on this map. Huge Slot immediately goes onto the point. Crushinator realizes he's about to let the cap happen. And 2, 4, 6, 6%. That's it. Meanwhile, both teams have taken their bruiser camps. Level 4s are coming out, and soon Varian will become a little more relevant. Meanwhile, Porky is sitting at 23 stacks. Not quite enough to make a difference for damage, but, you know, it's not a big deal. Now both teams have their bruisers pushing. And now here comes the second Sylvanas push. This time, instead of pushing in their own right, they've decided to clear. And that gives Lloyd the freedom to do whatever he wants spot side. He'll hold the lane, and he'll clear the camp. Meanwhile, the damage has already been done for the side of LTK. And, ooh, Porky is chasing for stacks and murdering and getting, you know, chunked at the same time. Chrome's got a fairly conventional W build, but because of all of this DPS pushing, they just haven't been there. Meanwhile, Cavalier rotated down. He isn't going to be able to get the point because Shadow and Rhea are coming for him. This is a difficult map to play as Dahaka. There are not enough bushes to feel safe. Meanwhile, they're coming in on the flank, but they don't have Porky with them. Well, Baby on board is coming on the flank. Anyways, now then, this is a weird fight. There's no Sylvanas, but instead Leoric takes its place. And lane priority has been developed. Sylvanas is coming back up. This is about to become a 5v4, which is a conundrum. Shadow goes in, chunks Crushinator out, and Baby on board disengages, except for Porky, who just goes in. Meanwhile, Crushinator walks into a trap, and ooh, that's barely dodging everything. Lloyd is just going to drop here, but Porky's too low in order to actually step up. Meanwhile, Crushinator is taking the other point, and he'll likely be able to Z up immediately. Lloyd, on the other hand, is respawning. This becomes a conundrum. Meanwhile, Mockery steps off the point to try to pursue this fight. They are not capping Zerg here, which means if they die here, and Porky does, they get no equivalent value. That's a blunder. And a big one at that. With 2 dead, 3 now, the Cavalier goes, they only get maybe 16%. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Because it means that Shadow's allowed to just possess those Marauders and just proceed onto it. Sure, Porky can press W, do a little bit to clear, but AA build does suffer in terms of wave clear. Except for that. I hate that particular talent so much. Like, it just makes Wallace so hard to pin down. Meanwhile, Cavalier's stepping up, and he is in imminent danger here. On the flip side, Baby on board looks to go in and take a camp. And meanwhile, he's like just steps up onto the point. Is like, "Hey, bro, you guys want to fight?" Just kidding. I'm just there to put pressure on you. Meanwhile, I've got a camp pushing. This time, Shadow decides to possess the Ghost and the 2 Marines. I don't know quite why, but maybe he was thinking we were going to get a push here. Either way, it does cause Cavalier to take more damage than he would have otherwise. Now that the Hellbats are in the way, those minions are going to do some work. At least before dying to Cavaliers. Position's a tricky talent to use right, but Shadow is showing that they know how to do it. Honestly, though, maybe if you're looking to start a new team of NGS, Sylvanas is probably amongst the most important of things to consider when drafting a new lineup of players. Like, if you can't play it, you're going to have to ban it more often than not. Just being able to crystallize advantages is so key. Look at that. Marauders again, this time to absorb shots. And Huge Slot is stepping up. Hasn't picked the ultimate quite yet. Trask is going to have to Oh, that's unfortunate. It's important to note that there is... I'm 90% certain of this. I'm going to have to get fact-checked on it. But I'm 90% certain that the whole spiel of the time loop gets removed if you get unstoppable. I'm only 90% certain on that. I might be wrong. Anyways, meanwhile, the points are here, and we're about to see the results of the first Zerg wave. Literally the results of the first Zerg wave. They've gotten 2 forts down before they even, get to it. And with the flank on, Cavalier Guest just Z's out and is like, nope, I'm not gonna deal. It means that the right thing for them to do, fundamentally here, is to push with this Zerg wave and leave Lloyd to the defense. That 4v5 will be massively in their favor, so long as they can protect the Guardians on the backline, which should be pretty easy into a Zarya plus Vala. Those Guardians will continuously spawn Zerg, and so long as they're alive, the keep can be taken. Crushinator just barely misses out on Shadowstorm. Structures are being disabled as well, which is exactly what they need. And Porky is caught in the time loop. There it is. But I can't tell if I'm right about it. We need to see this again. I need to be vindicated. Either his timing was really good, or the ability is a lot easier to use in that interaction. It doesn't get removed. I'm wrong. I am wrong. Darn. Well, we all learned something today. I learned that time zones to the west are behind time zones to the east. Yeah, so that's why I'm replaying this game like literally 2 hours before the main event starts. Yeah, it wasn't smart. Ooh. Mockery just barely cheeks his way out. Let's see here. Time dead. This is painful. The deaths are definitely not stacking up in the side of Baby on board. It means that from this position, from the 13 advantage, and from the fact that they know Expulsion Zone is down, they could have made an attempt on this boss. They opt not to. That's the safer play. That's the rational play. It's really showing that LTK has good discipline and good logic. It's important to think about this kind of stuff when what you do versus when you're ahead versus when you are behind. When you are ahead, you want to minimize risk because the onus is on you to make a mistake. If you make an error, that is something that they could potentially, capitalize and look to come back from. Meanwhile, another strong push coming out from the side of LTK. Those camps are going to do a lot, and it means that, Crushinator tries for the flank. Mockery also tries for it, but that Entomb is going to be a problem. The silence catches the Rhaegar. Crushinator is just going to die in the meantime then. Anyways, as this fort falls down, I do want to say something more about this topic. When you're in behind, however, that's when you have to make risks. That's when you have to make crazy plays. Because you need to hope that, we make something that is normally a mistake, has high yield and high chance of swinging the game in our favor. If we catch the enemy team when they're making a mistake, that could be compounded and that could let us get back in. If you are by default going to lose, that is the moment where normal conventional wisdom is no longer applicable. So the lanes that actually matter often... Oh, that was a weird entomb. I didn't know it could go out of bounds like that. Basically, conventional wisdom on a map should be the first thing to go when you're losing playing conventional wisdom. Ooh, huge slot gets caught by a lot of things there. But he actually makes it out of... Whoa! Shadowstorm just nukes. I have to watch that. So, bit of a flank, catches them, and there's the... Wow! Just like that. That Chromie 14 is totally ridiculous. Mockery goes down. Christian Hitter's next on the list. That is probably going to be the beginning of the final end. Trask is... Yeah, there goes him. And there's no entomb for another 3 seconds. And you can see, part of the team looks to go for it. They don't have a tank. But that isn't going to stop Shadow from doing a bit of DPS and then going over. His camp no longer matters to them. And with 16, they're likely going to be able to close out the game here and now. Well, who am I kidding doing that kind of speculative shot calling? There's 1 minute left in this. We all know how this is going. Oh, Porky gets caught in a time loop, and there's no saving that. It's an important thing to note when you're looking to beat a Rhaegar. Persistent crowd control is key. The shortness of his cleanse may not be as bad as some like Malfurion's Nature's Cure, but it's still such a small window. You really can't do much once it's active. Although, come to think of it, other than Divine Shield and Anduin's Leap, there are very few cleanses that are actually really persistent in their ability to save a target. There I am, rambling about. Anyways, I have no idea what to do now. I think I'm just going to stop it here. And then instead of doing this game, like an hour before the cast, I'm going to pick one of the Probus matches out in just an hour. So, apologies for baiting everyone. But we'll be back in an hour. Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I knew I forgot something. I knew I forgot something. Oh, no. There's no game sound, is there? That's going to sound awful.